Yeah, good afternoon. Hope everybody's doing well. Uh, really just recapping Sunday. Proud of our kids, proud of our team. Really been a difficult place to play, and thought our kids showed some real toughness and resilience on Sunday. Appreciate our fans that traveled to Waco with us, and again, it's a great win against a really good ball club in Baylor, and so now you're on to the next monster that you have to deal with, and that happens to be a top 15 team in Oklahoma. So they're obviously playing very well, well coached, lots of weapons, a real older veteran team. They got 6-year seniors, 5th-year seniors, seniors. They're just a real veteran team, probably the oldest team in the country. So we're going to have to be really on point. Their chemistry is so good. And Coach Bronchick does such a great job with them, their system and everything. So we'll have to be really on point defensively, and then offensively, we have to be really disciplined and not settle, which has been a problem for us. We've settled some in recent games. I thought Sunday afternoon in Waco, especially the second half, we got some really good shots. Obviously, we shot it well, but we shot it well because we got great shots. We were patient. We had some turnover issues first half, and even the second half. This team's been probably my worst turnover team I've had in 13 years. Going back to my first team at Mississippi State, I mean we're turning the ball over way too much. But I thought in the second half we got some really good looks, and we made shots. So big challenge tomorrow night. Anxious for the challenge. Hope to have another good practice today.
Thanks, Coach. Kurt, go ahead.
So, Vic, you are going to show up, though, right? This Oklahoma's not unbeatable, right?
Yeah, no, we'll be there. We're I know a little more than the kids do and understand. I mean, I'm sitting here. I've watched film on them now for all of yesterday, last night, this morning, today. Watched it Sunday night when I got back. Came straight to the office. Stayed up here till 2. Just watching them. So I kind of know what the animal looks like and know how difficult they are. And, we've got to have great focus and concentration. Again, we've got with so many new players, chemistry's not been our plus on either end, offense or defense. So we've had, certain players that have been out and they get back and they get out again. And so it's just hard to be really, really good when you have so many issues that we've had throughout the course of the year, especially in regards to chemistry.
And their offense, how tough is it to defend, averaging 87 points? I know y'all only give up 57, but something's got to give, obviously.
Yeah, it's kind of like the old saying, good hitting versus good pitching.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what they say on that side in baseball, but when you're guarding somebody like Oklahoma, the problem is all it takes is one weak link. You got to have 5 people that are really together, that are all attached. Then you got a chance to guard them. When you got one person that steps out of the 5 and gets out of line, they're going to exploit you and they're going to score on you, or they're going to get a great look. I mean, you got a kid on that team shooting 44% from 3-point range. She's fixing to set the all-time, record at some point in the next probably couple games. She makes 2 on us, she'll tie it. Again, a veteran kid, been around, been in so many big games, but they surround them. They're bigs. They've got some size now that they haven't had in the past, and you can put 4 shooters around, one inside player. It really makes it difficult. But then they got, Maddie Williams that plays multiple positions, and she attacks you in so many different places on the floor. So really unique team that's going to challenge us defensively every possession.
We'll go Bob and then Emma. Bob, go ahead.
I'm calling him. Hang on. You good?
Yep.
Okay. That's what you need to check a text, it's all good. Coach, you mentioned the chemistry. How do you think your kids have handled the difficulty in overcoming injury after injury after injury, and how do you think you've handled it?
All I can do is coach the ones that are here and available. I think the answer is I've never had this many in my career, and I don't think we've handled it well at all. I don't think we handle it still to this day. I think, part of athletics is there are going to be some injuries and things like that, but then it's how you respond in your toughness. We're not very tough. We're it's always been it's an Achilles of this team. We just, it's just the way it is. I've had a whole lot, I've had some teams in the past that are just, their success wasn't because of how skilled we were. Their success was because of how tough we were, how competitive we were, our competitive spirit. You're never going to be 100%, y'all. You're never going to be 100% in your career, but certainly not in late January and February. But to me, it's our inability to deal with that in a way that, helps you become a more tougher and better, tougher competitor. So I don't, y'all have to understand in today's world. I mean, you have to be so careful and a lot of times you have to treat what somebody's saying, and you really can't do anything else but that. So, again, we've had some unfortunate, luck this year. Amo going out really affects us, and having her on the bench, y'all, has been we really miss her when we've been on the road and haven't been able to have her with us here lately because of her surgery. They wouldn't let her get on an airplane and fly. That really affected us in Lubbock and at Oklahoma State. We had her on the bench there, in Waco and then here at home. And it's really, she brings so much to the table from just her perspective as a player. What happened with Rory earlier in the year is it's just bad luck, but we got her back now. And so that obviously we're a little bit different in a lot of ways with her out there running the point. So, but we've had some other nagging things that we just can't seem to shake. And again, it's really frustrating for me because I've always had those teams Victoria Vivian, she rolled her ankle one day in shoot around, big as a softball. She promised me, she said, "Coach, I'll be ready tonight. Don't worry about me." And she was, and she probably went out and had 25 and 12. Anybody else had been over there with ice bag on her ankle. That kid never missed a minute. Blair Schaefer had a jammed up shoulder. We just thought it was a jammed up shoulder. She played the whole season, has shoulder surgery, and doc said, "I don't know how she played. She's got chips all in her shoulder I had to take out." And, it's each kid's different. And I just think that toughness factor is something that, you got to have, y'all, in college athletics, because you're never going to be 100%.
And then just real quick, I know you're just worried about your program, but is there any significance to you with there being no Texas teams in the top 25 for the first time in 47 years of the poll?
I mean, I saw you say that last night on sports, and I mean, it is what it is, y'all. I mean, all I can worry about is University of Texas and where we are and what we're doing with what we have. And that's all I can worry about. I think there's great parity in our game. We've lost 2 games on the road that we feel like we shouldn't have lost, but we lost them for a reason, y'all. And again, at the end of the day, the buck stops here, and I'm responsible for that. But it's disappointing, and I know it may mean something to somebody else, but to me, all I can control is what I have here at Texas, what I inherited here, and where I think my program's going. And, certainly I think we're dealing with some things that it's just part of it. So I get the historical perspective of that, Bob. I understand that, but at the same time, it's all it is a stat.
Emma, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Coach. So Taylor was talking about how being a transfer, it's been a bit of a challenge for her to kind of switch environments. And I was just going to ask you as a coach, do you kind of help the transfers to ease into the process, or is it just everybody's kind of thrown in? And just how has the team responded to having all these new faces?
Yeah, so 4 transfers, 2 freshmen. So half of my team that's eligible to play right now are new faces. And Taylor's biggest challenge has been getting healthy and staying healthy. It's been a problem throughout her whole career. So, it's hard to get comfortable and try to fit in when you've been out 6 weeks during the course of the season, missed practice, missed games. I mean, to me, that's been her biggest challenge. Do we do things differently? Absolutely. Do we play both ends of the floor? Absolutely. And so I think for her situation is way different than, say, Sonia, who she's being held accountable defensively, and she's never been held accountable defensively in her career. So that's a challenge for her. And just understanding the importance of playing defense. And so, I think Slim has really done a great job. She's really been thrust into a situation where she's had to play point guard when Rory went down, and she's really embraced that. And, her game, she's gotten better. I think what we're looking for from her is the consistency piece. She'll have a great game, then have a not so great game. I don't think she'd tell you she played very well in Lubbock. And, I think, again, Oklahoma State, same thing. And so we've got to get her consistent every game, because the kid can be really, really good. I think her, again, I've said this all year, man, when she's good, she really affects our team in such a positive way. And she's a great kid, man. She works her tail off. And so I think she's getting better in that regard. But the consistency piece, I think, for all these kids is a real challenge. And at Texas, you have to be consistent. I mean, in the league we play in, the schedule we play, you can't be up and down. It can't be a roller coaster. Y'all have covered other sports. You see it. 1 week they're great, 1 week they're down. That's not it. You have to be able to be counted on day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out. You can't have all these peaks and valleys. My best teams, all I needed to know, make sure they knew, is what time the bus was loading and where we were loading from. If the right people got on the bus, we were good, because I could count on them. I knew day in and day out, night in and night out, when the lights came on, I knew what I was going to get. They were consistent. That's the challenge that we have right now. Hattie's been in foul trouble the last few games. Well, I can't have her in foul trouble. She can't do what she does best, which is rebound, alter shots, defend a little bit for us. You can't help us win when you're sitting down on the bench. So it's that consistency piece that I think you're challenged with the most with these new players, whether it's that wasn't a big deal where they were or whatever. It is a big deal here, because night in and night out, we are consistently going to get everybody's best shot. That you can count on. And I just think for us and these, this team, we've got to be better. And again, it all comes back to me. I've got to make sure we're consistently ready to go, night in and night out, day in and day out. And, this is just, we're in late January now, early February. I ran a couple plays the other day in Waco, and I got kids that don't know plays. Like, that's not acceptable. You don't know your playbook. But again, that's my job. That's my position coach's job to make sure our kids know the playbook. But you can't have wasted possessions. Tomorrow night, we can't have wasted possessions because some freshman doesn't know her playbook. You can't do that.
Tyler.
Hi, Vic.
Hi, Tyler.
How are you today?
Man, I'm good. I'm
good to-
ready
good
to
to
go.
hear.
I'm fixing to win practice.
You've got the energy. You look ready to rock and roll. After the win at Baylor, you compared Deanna to Nalissa, and then I just asked Taylor about how Deanna has, been that player not just on the court but off the court. She said, "What has Deanna done this season to earn that type of comparison?"
Well, I think her build, number one, she's built just like her. I think she's athletic like her. She's got a face-up game that Nalissa had, and then she can play with her back to the basket like Nalissa could. And so, certainly she's got a ways to go to have the same skill set that Nalissa Smith has, but she shows flashes of that. And when I look at her and see her every day in practice and in games, she certainly reminds me and has the potential to be that kind of player. And I've said that all along. I have a lot of confidence. I went to D a couple times the other night down the stretch. She traveled in one of them and then had a bucket for us in another. But, D's somebody that, again, she's matured. She's able to take coaching. She wants responsibility. She asks questions now that she would never dreamed of asking before. And kid's got a chance to be super, super special. We just got to keep her healthy. Right now, she got she got a hand all taped up. I don't even know how she plays. She got two fingers that are taped up like a linebacker in football. So, again, we get her healthy in one area, and then we have an issue in another. And it's always been a challenge for her.
Speaking with the injury bug kind of within your team this season, expectations for Rory against Oklahoma that she will play?
Yeah.
40 minutes?
There you go.
Hey, I think I told y'all, she practiced yesterday, and I expect her to practice today. So, I think I think she'll go.
Okay, Coach, we got three more. Emily, go ahead.
Hi. What is your reaction to this season's increased attendance rates at the stadium?
Well, I certainly appreciate everyone who's been coming out and supporting our kids. And again, we had some really great fans on Sunday on the road with us in Waco, which I really appreciate. Man, I don't ever like going anywhere without my fans. And when you go on the road, there's nothing better than winning on the road. And then when you can win on the road and you've got people that care deeply about your program, they love your kids, they care about you. It's hard for me to look at people after a loss just because I know how many people there are out there that care so deeply for us and about our program and our university. And I hate letting them down. And that's what it feels like for me. When we lose, I feel like I'm letting people down. So to have the fans that we've had here in the Moody, quite frankly, I appreciate the ones that have been coming, but I think we should have more. We've had a pretty good product to put on the floor. We have some of the best players in the country to watch. You shouldn't take that for granted. Got one of the best point guards in America that plays here at Texas. She's just a sophomore. You've got some other players that have had, some really big games and great success. They're fun to watch. They play the game the right way. They're exciting. And so, I'm always going to want more, y'all. But I'm really appreciative of the fans that we've had so far. And, my dream is to have 10,000 a night. And that's what I think, our program warrants. I say this all the time. Don't come to see who I'm playing. Come to see Texas. It doesn't matter who I'm playing. It shouldn't matter. If you're a Texas Longhorn, you're coming to see your kids play. You're coming to see your ladies play. And that's the approach that I'll always take.
Danny?
How would you describe the Moody Center's home court atmosphere from last year? Are there any like big differences?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of big difference. I mean, it's a big difference that the fans are way closer to the action. They seem like they're more on top of you. It gets a whole lot louder in there. The acoustics are great. And so I just think from that perspective, it's really been a great atmosphere for our kids to play in, because again, it's just the way the place is built. So, it's a big difference without a doubt. Anybody that's been in the Irwin and then been over here, I don't think there's any doubt. There's a way big difference in how things sound, feel, look. So.
Thanks. Danny, go ahead.
Vic, how concerned are you with the fouls committed by your team?
Trying to get me in trouble, Danny.
Of course.
Of course, yeah. All I can do is control what we do and how we do it. And I'm constantly coaching our kids to be better. I think there's some things that, we do that are really, really special and good, and we don't get rewarded for it. But I'm not going to give in. We're going to keep coaching and teaching. We're going to keep trying to do things the way we know have been successful for us over the years. And that's all I can control. So, sometimes, Danny, we do foul, and then sometimes we feel like we've drawn some fouls, and, it's not so much the ones that are called so much as sometimes we feel like we're pretty aggressive and we draw things and we're not being rewarded for it. But it is what it is. All I can control is my kids, and that's my focus. I'm going to focus on our kids and coach better and teach better. And that's all I can do.
Okay, we're going to take one more. Roger, go ahead.
All right, let's close it down. Get fired up, Coach. All said, you guys are playing OU with a piece of first place on the line tomorrow. That's got to have a pretty good ring to it. That's got to be one of those where your kids will be ready to bust down the door to get on the floor tomorrow, I would think.
Well, you'd think so. Again, for our kids, it's I know they'll be excited. It is game 8 of 18, and so we've got an opportunity here at home. We need to protect the home court. I mean, that's what it's all about. Where you are tomorrow night at 9:00 versus where you are in March in this conference, two different things. And our focus is always on the next team, the next game, and just trying to get better every day. We can get better today than we were yesterday, then we're doing something right. But having an opportunity to play a top 15 team here at home, we've had a couple of those this year. You got to protect your home court. And this Oklahoma team is going to really challenge you because of their age, because of their chemistry. They've all been together for so long, because of their skill set. And so we're going to have to really be on point tomorrow night and really play at a very high level. And but I expect the place to have a lot of folks in it. It's a great opportunity. We're trying to, I don't even know what the record is for students at a women's basketball game, but the promo is trying to get as many students as we can to break the student attendance record. And I'd like to see the whole record broke, but nonetheless, our focus, I think, is on the students tomorrow night. And so we need a good crowd. Home court, your home court advantage is based on, how many you got in the crowd and what it's like playing on your home court, which is predicated on how much you're in there practicing. So we've got to play well tomorrow night. We got to defend the home court. And we really need a lot of folks there because they make such a big difference for us, put such an impact. Our kids love playing in front of our home fans. They're so passionate. And so I'm hopeful we'll have 8,000 or 9,000 tomorrow night.
Coach, we're going to sneak one more in if that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Go ahead.
Hey, Vic, you're talking about the value of the home court. Back to Bob's earlier question about, no Texas team in the rankings this week. Just how valuable do you have to start looking at the paradigm of whether or not you can host in the postseason and what that would mean, and how different it would be for a postseason tournament if no Texas team ends up hosting in a year that the Final Four is in the state?
Yeah, I don't think about any of that. I'm game to game. That's all I can do. I can control only what we do today in practice. And I just kind of let everything take care of itself. If we do our job, if we do what we're capable of doing, we'll see where it all shakes out in March. But I can't, man, that's a lot to think about and worry about right there. And I just, all I can control is my team and how I coach them and teach them today and what they learn today and how we get better today. And I think that's the thing, y'all. You pay attention to my teams over the past 13 seasons. My teams always continue to get better. And I think this team will continue to work and get better. And, when we get to March, we'll figure it all out. But there's a lot of things that go into what you just asked. And there's really not a lot of time there's not enough time in the day to get to all the issues and things that you deal with in regards to that. So a lot of parity in our game, and again, there's certain things we just can't control. We've certainly had our fair share or unfair share of things that we can't control this year that have affected our team and our wins and losses. So all you can control is who's going to be at practice today. And then I can control how we practice. Y'all have heard me say it. You're either coaching it or you're allowing it. And really, that's really easy. When you approach things like that, it's really easy. And if I got a whole team today, that's what we'll work with. If I got a couple kids that can't practice or they're 50%, then I can't worry about that. I just have to go with the ones that are full go and can go. And that's who we'll go with tomorrow night.
Thanks, everybody, for joining today. Thanks, Coach.
Hey, thanks a lot, everybody. Appreciate you being on. Praise the Lord and Hook'em Horns.
Just really thankful to be out there. And yeah, I think that our team is finally with the pieces back that we've been missing, all of us being healthy, and we're finally able to get in the gym and practice and work together. I think that we are building a lot of team chemistry and getting our groove. Of course, we still have a lot of things to work on looking back at the film, but we did handle Baylor very well. And I think that it is a really promising sign for what this team is going to do here in the future.
Thank you.
Tyler?
Hey there. Vic compared Deanna to Nalissa Smith. He's done that a couple of times. Maybe where do you see that comparison from your vantage point? And then what is Deanna like as a teammate? What is it like to play with her?
Yeah, so growing up, I played against Nalissa Smith all throughout high school, and I think I actually may have played her in college once, and she was very hard to guard. I mean, someone that can shoot the ball, someone that can take you off the dribble, rebounds extremely hard, finishes around the rim. I mean, she was a first-round draft pick, so I think that just goes to show her talent level. And I'd never heard Coach Schaefer compare the two, but now that I have heard it, I can definitely see the comparison. I mean, Deanna has done a great job this season, and she is just so athletic, so versatile, and she also has the height too. And she's able to finish around the basket. Her confidence is extremely high right now. And I mean, next year they even talked about her being able to shoot the 3 ball and being comfortable out there. And so not only is she a great player, and I think that she is a huge asset for our team, especially right now. Deanna as a person I say this all the time, she is the funniest person I've ever met. If you were just in a game and watch her, like the way she carries herself and like her mannerisms, she's just so joyful and funny. And it's just like a natural like wittiness to her. And it's just, she brightens up a room anytime that she walks in.
Thanks, Taylor. Appreciate it.
Emily, go ahead, Emily.
Hi, Taylor. How would you describe Texas's home court advantage as a first season Longhorn?
So I would definitely describe our advantage as, I mean, as soon as you step into Moody, not only is it probably going to be the nicest arena you're going to play in all year, it probably will be one of the loudest, especially if we're playing our best basketball. I mean, Coach Schaefer has done a great job. We also have done a great job of just asking people to come to as many games as possible and pulling a crowd and putting on a performance when people do show up and getting the people to come back. And so I think that the turnout that we're going to have tomorrow will be pretty grand. I'm really excited to see the amount of people that we have brought in. We've done a lot of advertising, promoting for this game. And so I think that it definitely is a great advantage for us. I mean, when you think about it, it is hard to win on the road, let alone when you have a packed arena. So
yeah, and what would you want to say to Texas fans with women's basketball on pace to have the best attendance in the last 10 years?
I would say thank you. Keep on showing up. We're going to keep on putting up a show. As long as you come out, we're going to do it for y'all and everyone that's in attendance.
Thanks, Emily. Bob?
Hey, Taylor, what would you say is the biggest challenge of missing a month of the season and trying to come back and get back incorporated and everything? And then as a team as well, the difficulties you guys have faced with Aaliyah and Rory and you and trying to shuffle things around. What are some of the challenges you guys have faced and how do you think you've overcome them?
For me personally, I would say that me missing the amount of time that I did. So I was out for a good amount of time, came back, had to sit out again. And also last year I went through shoulder surgery and I was out for half of the season. And so just gaining my confidence back, this has been like, these last few games have been a longer stretch of games than I've played in the last year and a half. So, I mean, I'm extremely thankful to come out and play. And I think our game against Baylor, I finally felt like my rhythm again and felt like how I used to play. And so for me, I think it is just gaining my confidence. And I mean, I'm coming into the season after everyone has already had however many days of practice and I haven't. So I think that that has just been pretty difficult mentally, but thankfully I have a great medical staff that was able to get me up to speed whenever I was able to be back. And so that's not an issue anymore. But I think as a team with the amount of people that have been hurt or injuries that have happened, it was hard to find the footing and hard to find like everyone determining, okay, well, what is my role? You figure out your role and then someone goes down and you're like, well, we have to refigure that out. We have to learn how to play it together again. And so I think that right now we have learned our chemistry. We've learned our identity. Mostly everyone knows what their role is on the team. And so I think that we're finally all coming together in a great time of season.
John?
Earlier you mentioned about having everybody back finally and having the pieces back. Has Rory been able to practice this week? And what's the mindset you guys take into this matchup, knowing you can be tied for first?
Yes, we all practiced yesterday, including Rory. And I think that our mindset, you asked our mindset coming to the next game, right? Our mindset coming into this next game, I mean, Coach Schaefer always tells us, like, you can't win a championship unless you win them all. And so this is just another game. This is another piece of the puzzle that we need to win. And I mean, coming into it, we're just going to prepare how we did with Baylor. Our coaches do a great job at scouting and a great job at implementing it the 2 days before practice. So we already worked on some of their stuff yesterday and we're going to do more of it today whenever we have practice. And just being confident in our abilities to play against them and how we're also going to guard them. I mean, in Oklahoma, they are a fast transition team. They get the ball out quick. They have a lot of great shooters. And so being able to run them off the line and prevent layups and force them to do their third option, which is pull-ups. That is what pretty much our game plan. Of course, Coach Schaefer's is a lot more in depth than what I just told y'all, but just coming out, executing, playing our best defense and just having the mindset of attacking first, hitting first. And I think that's what we did in Baylor and it paid off.
Thanks, John. Danny?
For you guys, fouling has been an issue this season. I'm kind of wondering, how do you guys go about that? Is that just a cause of how aggressive y'all are, or is that a problem that you as a team have identified?
So we talk about fouls after every game because we have had a lot of fouls in a lot of our games. And a lot of them come from us getting beat either off the bounce or the posts are late and we hit them, or setting screens. And so we just try and like clean up our game, make sure that we are as fine-tuned as possible to prevent those fouls.
Thanks, Danny. Roger?
Hey, Taylor, how's the adjustment when you go from high school to college? There's the big jump, but now you're going from one program to another. A coach that, you know, does it his way and really demanding, and the team always seems to get better. And that, I think, it says something about, you know, adjusting to coach and his style. But how is that adjustment coming from another high level program as opposed to a high school jump?
Yeah, so the high school jump, it's more of like you learn the fast pace of the game, you learn the hundreds more details of the game, you learn that there's like another level that you haven't even reached. But coming from one program to another, of course I chose to transfer to a program that had a completely different, literally opposite style of play than where I was from. And so that was difficult. I mean, thankful I already had the 3 years of knowledge that I learned at my old school, and bringing that here, learning a new program, a new system, and still being able to incorporate some of the stuff that I learned at another program here. I think it definitely has paid off and helped me evolve my game and grow my game in ways that I never would have imagined. And my goal is to go play in the WNBA, play overseas. And I think that transferring for me helped me realize, like, okay, if you, let's just say in the future, you get drafted, you go to a team that a style that you had never played, you got to learn it quick. If you get traded to another team, you got to learn it quick. So it has been a challenge, but a great challenge. And I've loved it so far.
Thanks, Roger. Kurt?
Yeah, Taylor, Oklahoma is a high octane offense, like you say, have scored in the 90s 8 times, once in the hundreds. Describe the challenge of trying to contain them and shut down Maddie Williams specifically.
Yeah, so like I said, we're going to try and run them off the 3-point line and be in help whenever they do try and score layups. And it's just, I mean, it comes down to every single possession where you're going to have to guard them. We're going to have to box out, get the rebounds, not foul, force them off the 3-point line, contest their shots if they are able to get the 3-point off. So it's just, we have to operate like a machine, and we have to make sure that all 5 of us are working together to achieve the goal of winning. And in order for us to win, we cannot take any plays off tomorrow. And we have to be as sharp as possible because our offense is going to flow. We know that we have great weapons. Every single person down the lineup can score and will score tomorrow. So I think that as long as we are defensively focused, offense will flow, and we just have to come out with a strong mindset.
And Maddie Williams, your comments on her?
Oh, I played against her in high school, and I always thought that she was really, really good, just the way that she plays. And we definitely yesterday had a emphasis on her, on how to guard her. We're going to have Deanna on her. I think putting athletic against athletic will be a really good thing for us. And I trust Dee. I think that she's going to guard her, and her height will definitely, I feel like, impact Maddie a lot.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Taylor.
Thank you.